AM 1460, the new WXBR. You were listening to the Metro South Morning Show, PM in the AM. Peter Zimbor here with you this morning. And just last week, I declared on Black Friday that year in, year out, in my mind, Christmas season truly does not begin until the Waitresses Christmas wrapping gets played on the radio. And by the power invested in me from working at a radio station, I decided to make Christmas season truly begin by playing Christmas Wrapping by the Waitresses, my favorite Christmas song of all time. And joining us right now via the telephone to discuss is the man who wrote the song from the Waitresses, guitarist Chris Butler. Chris, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Peter. Thanks for having me on your show.
Chris, you were just telling me off the air that this has been an amazing year in terms for you in relation to the history of the song.
It has probably the strongest year so far. I had the pleasure of being in England last week, and I was able to do two interviews about the song, one on the BBC and one for NME, New Music Express, kind of big deals in the UK. I've never had the opportunity to do anything like that before, and my Facebook page is just filled with, sightings, shall we say, of, hey, I heard the song in this store or on that radio station, or gee, it's my favorite song, and I'm just overwhelmed. It's been amazing.
So what you're saying is I'm not the only person just randomly finding you on Facebook and asking you
Oh
to do an interview.
No! You're the most important for sure.
Well, thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. Now, this song came out 32 years ago. What is it about this song that makes it go so strong year in, year out with airplay in the holiday season?
Well, I've had 32 years to try and figure that out. I think it's because it starts really negatively, and everybody kind of is exhausted by the end of the year, and it's easy to relate to. Christmas season, all the joy and all this, which it's a bit of malarkey. Most people I know are pretty stressed, and Christmas can be an impertinent. But something about the magic of the season, he says slightly sarcastically, does seem to transform even the grumpiest Scrooge into, gee, it's Christmas, let's have some fun. And I think I was able to, and the band, of course, was able to encapsulate that in a song. So it worked great for Mr. Dickens. It seems to be working pretty good for me.
I can already sense from your attitude that you would fit in quite well with a lot of the characters that frequent this radio program, being miserable at Christmas, but realizing, it's still Christmas, you got to do it. Once again, we're chatting with Chris Butler of the Waitresses here on AM 1460, the new WXBR. I've got to assume that financially, this is the gift that keeps on giving. Every year around December, you just get weird royalty checks sent to you.
Well, it's I'm not exactly living a limousine life, this big rock star life. No. Does it keep the wolf away? Yes. I've been able to hold on to my publishing, and thankfully the song, continues to be played. There is a financial aspect to it. I tell everyone with the truth that, my kid probably will not be able to go completely tuition paid to an Ivy League college, but he can certainly go to the best damn 2-year school he can find and learn plumbing or something. So my kid's covered, and I'm okay too. I'm not living large. I'm living medium, and you know what? That's fine. I am able to continue to do music, do writing, do some theater, do some spoken word, and keep a roof over my head and some pasta in my stomach. So I'm very grateful and doing okay.
Now, this song, Christmas Wrapping, like all Waitresses songs, was sung by Patty Donahue, who was the vocalist for the band, who unfortunately passed away due to lung cancer in the mid-1990s. Now, she sang these songs, but you wrote these songs. What was it like for you writing songs to be sung from a female perspective?
I'm always amazed that folks find that unusual because all you have to do is kind of listen to what's going on around you, and you hear bits of character coming from different people, and female, male, whatever. You put it all together, and you get something. I mean, it certainly helped that both Patty and I had kind of co-evolved a character of a working woman in an urban area, and played some mind games about what that experience would be like, and how could we turn it into music, how could we turn it into words. It wasn't that odd. I mean, there are plenty of female characters in plays, written by men. I think what might separate us was that there was an attitude and a desire, at least on my part, for a little more depth, and to write about situations that were not normally pop fodder. Working experiences, relationships, but not I love you, you love me kind of love songy stuff. Trying to get much deeper into the interactions that go on within a relationship. Sounds kind of highbrow, but to me that was just more interesting than writing a gooey love song. There are a lot better folks out there who could do that than I ever could, and so I guess I spent more time thinking about the psychology and the sociology than just romance.
We'll talk about more of the Waitresses songs in just a moment. I want to stick with Christmas wrapping for the time being. This is a song that's been covered by the likes of the Spice Girls. It's been covered on the TV show Glee. As the man who wrote that song, do you have a favorite cover version of the song, and why?
You know what? And I'm going to stumble here because I can't remember their name. There was a wonderful clip posted 5 or 6 years ago of a Glasgow band, and they're playing it live in a club, and the first thing that the lead singer says, off mic but clearly visible, is, "Corn, there's so many damn words." and she's reading a sheet, and they do a wonderful version of it, and with her thick Glaswegian brogue, and it's, I have to say that's utterly charming to me, and that's probably my favorite.
I think another great thing about the song is that it does cross a lot of boundaries in terms of genres of music. That opening guitar line is clearly a Christmas-inspired rock and roll riff, but the rest of the song is very poppy and very danceable. It can get played on an adult contemporary radio, a rock radio station could play it, a pop radio station could play it. I just think it's a universally great Christmas song. That's why it's my personal favorite, Chris.
Well, thank you very much. Let's get some shout-outs here. I mean, I did come up with the bits and pieces, but credit has to go to Tracy Wormworth for taking my little kind of grunty bass line that I gave her and having her run with it and just do a magnificent performance. Mars Williams, our reed player, I did come up with the kind of chorusy lines or the horn breaks, but he arranged them beautifully. And we also got our friend Dave Buck in to play trumpet, and Dan Slayman's piano, and Billy's drumming. We all kind of pulled together on that, and they all should be mentioned. Not just the writer, me. They did an amazing job, and that was the first time I got to use a Marshall amplifier, really. So, my bit, I thought, it was a thrill for me to do that too. So. The Marshall amplifier set on 11. Truly, it was screamingly loud.
Just like Spinal Tap.
Yeah, just like Spinal Tap.
Now, Chris, I mentioned earlier that the vocalist for the Waitresses, Patty Donahue, passed away of cancer in the mid 90s, so clearly the Waitresses can't truly perform anymore. When was the last time you actually performed that song live? And you keep in touch with the former members of the Waitresses, and the band really has not been active since the mid 80s.
No, no. We imploded about '83, but and everyone, well, not everyone, but Tracy and Mars, Billy, of course, Billy Sicker, our drummer, have continued to be in the music. Tracy's had quite a career. Mars has had an amazing career. He is a completely amazing lead player. The last time I performed the song is last Christmas. I'm speaking to you from Hoboken, New Jersey, and there's a wonderful club here called Maxwell's that has supposedly closed, but doesn't seem to be dead yet. Anyway, the local musicians put on a Christmas show as a benefit for various local charities. I think this year's it's our homeless shelter, and get together with my pals and do a version of it. So, I'm relearning the song once again in anticipation of hitting the stage with it later in the month.
Well, Chris, the song is timeless. We thank you for coming on the program today to discuss that song. The Waitresses have other songs that have really stood the test of time as well. The first time I ever heard the group, I was watching VH1's pop-up video years and years ago, and I Know What Boys Like came on over the air, and I loved Patty Donahue's sort of snotty, bratty vocal delivery in that song. I
Yeah.
instantly felt, is that the correct way to describe it? I'd say I'm not trying to insult her, but it's bratty.
Yeah, it's pretty tart, right?
And I instantly fell in love with the song, and it was so catchy. And then years later, that song has really stood the test of time through hip hop, of all places. Jay-Z had a song with Puff Daddy and Lil Kim years ago that sampled bits of the song called I Know What Girls Like. What do you think of when people who are from a completely different genre from anything that the Waitresses were ever a part of take bits and pieces of your song and make it their own, seemingly?
Oh, well, it's amazing. You know, to be sampled by such hip hop royalty is pretty cool. Yeah, it's a catchy line, and they've turned it into some. It's taken some very interesting twists and turns in their hands. Let's say that. I mean, having Little Kim to take a shot at it is it's pretty raw and fun, and yeah, totally surprising to me. Wow, I guess I came up as a hook.
Did it ever help you earn street cred with your kids and their friends growing up?
That's good. That's good. Good question. I asked my 14-year-old, well, at the time 13 last year, hey, we're on Glee. Is that cool? And he gave me a look. So apparently Glee was not for as a 13-year-old. Glee was not cool. He does kind of get a kick every once in a while of seeing his geezer dad, well, his younger dad, on the TV. But it's ancient history. He's a modern kid. I think he'd probably be more into Jay-Z's version than our version, it should be told.
Well, thankfully, YouTube does exist, so we can get whatever version that he chooses to look up. We're chatting with Chris Butler of the Waitresses here on AM 1460, the new WXBR. Chris, we've been waxing nostalgia about your time in the Waitresses and Christmas rapping as it is the holiday season. What are you up to nowadays? You're still in the music business?
Oh man, I stay real busy. I have a bunch of CDs out already. I have a couple projects that I'm finishing up. I was involved at Kent State University in 1970, May 4th, when the students were murdered. For years, I've been trying to do something around that. It's a big topic and hugely important for me. Well, I think I've got a project, a CD project that's semi-theatrical as well, completed. I play drums, guitar, and bass, and I'm able to find gigs and play with folks whose music I really like. I mentioned I was in England. I was playing guitar with my friend Elizabeth McCulloch who's a great songwriter and goes by the name Elsa Cat. I'm staying busy. I refuse to go quietly, and I'm trying to do as much work and as much good work as I can.
Well, Chris, where can folks find more information about the projects that you are currently working on right now?
Well, if you do a Google search for me, there's a Future Fossil Music website. I think it's www.futurefossilmusic.com. Facebook, of course, always something up there. Drawing attention to myself. I'm out there in the bit stream, so a couple keystrokes and you'll be caught up.
Chris, any final words for our listeners before I let you go this morning?
Absolutely. Have an unbelievably happy holiday, safe holiday, as they always used to say. Happy New Year. I hope 2014 is good for everyone. And what a great radio station you have to listen to.
Thank you so much. That's the man who wrote my favorite Christmas song of all time, Chris Butler of the Waitresses, joining us here on AM 1460, the new WXBR. You're listening to the Metro South Morning Show, PM in the AM. We'll step aside for a quick break. Mike Pava joins us with a local news update when we're back.